Well, gonna have to fix that shake. But here we are. We are about to just catalog for the most part. Some iterations I've done to this this STAR BRAINTEASER. So this is the base piece. And funnily enough, the base piece can be folded out of just tiny paper. Oh wait, these I taped together. Here's one. But it's a pretty simple pattern. I'll have it available online or down in the description or something. But it just folds up into itself. I didn't really like these open ends. It didn't really give me much out of office paper like the last video to really close that up. So your geometry just has to be really perfect when folding it for it to just kind of lock into itself and essentially just look like this. I did like a little inside fold there to lock it into place. So yeah, time to go through all of the iterations. Trying to be better at cataloging these things and putting them online. So let's zoom in. So under here, you'll see a pattern. That was the crease pattern there. I did originally model this in 3D and then had to tweak it a little bit to be origami safe. With this update, I couldn't really model it in 3D because the output wouldn't hold up, or it wasn't origami. So in making the tweaks that I did, I learned a lot more. Some of the things that I'll be going over is the change in distance here, and like real briefly, the change in the height of these pyramids, however I made that triangle, and then how it affected the two side bits, as well as adjusting for the height of this. Eventually I just got to the point where I was able to make a shape that was in fact 90 degrees in these corners, so that it was able to, you know, hold together and be a new updated STAR origami BRAINTEASER. For those of you that like BRAINTEASERs, and to make them all out of paper. All right, so there's one. These have no lines, and these are some that I just went on to fold manually to find out and learn different bits of how it folds. You'll see those little marks on the back end on where I kind of measure out where I'm folding. Some of these don't give me enough to lock it, so I tried to tweak those designs in various ways. But you can kind of see the angles there aren't really 90 degrees. Well over 90 degrees, like 110 or something. This is a really squashed pyramid. Probably the shortest one that I made. You can just see it in the profile that the middle just drops. Now these, I kind of do the opposite here. You'll see this section getting smaller, and when that happens, it no longer becomes a square on the profile. With these, I did bring back the lines to save me time on measuring. I'd set up a file in Illustrator and ultimately tweak it in Illustrator, and then I came up with faster and faster ways to tweak it in Illustrator, so that I was just immediately like just printing it out, making sure that it was centered, getting right to folding. You kind of see the middle there getting smaller. I do like this when this happens. And at certain stages in the fold, it gets really prominent and really goes to locking the piece in place. So I wanted to make more shapes like this, and the ends look far more pleasing than the other one that's like tensioned under the weight of the paper pretty much. And here's one where the bottom really dips. I think I made it proportionally, what is this? This is like 1 to 1.5, the distance or the height of this triangle. And then I can do things like this, which I really like. This is part of what could potentially be an outdoor grill is one thing I've been saying, or a chair, depending on the scale. But it's foldable. I like that. It doesn't do the little hook thing that I like there, but I think I played around with it a little bit further. With these, they somewhat harken back to these older ones, just folded out, and again trying to aim to get these angles in here at a 90-degree is a trick in and of itself, while making it still origami. boost the light a little bit there. This one is probably my favorite. It's a nice shape. The angles are by far the closest to 90. I want to say like 95 or something. Or shit, it might, nope, 95. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, that is still good enough to do what I needed to do. Here's another one. This one has a slight variation. So whereas you can kind of see, let's try to line this up in the camera, that middle peak is almost a third the way up to the next block there. This one, I think I tried to bring it down a little bit. This is like closer to half. And I believe I have some more. That is the end of that segment. With some bonus material. So whereas that other one that I showed recently had a kind of pyramid in the middle there to rest on, this one doesn't. So this one would kind of go over that. All right, bonus material aside, these are some of my finalized structures, and in the next video I'll show the final shape all folded up and put together. But I ended up just doing the half so that I can get onto the next step. Like I wanted to make sure that things like the peak I had full control over. There, I believe that one's still coming down more. Oh, that one's kind of high. Yellow. But never quite getting it with this design. I figure if I did maybe like a few more, I could get it down and level, but I ended up going this direction after this. I was like, well, screw it. It doesn't have to be even in the peaks. What I find that needs to be most important in this design or in this brain teaser is the angles within here. And I focused on that more and came up with this shape, which I really like. And even these smaller ones, that get again really close to 90 degrees. Whereas for this one in particular, I think all I would need to do to make it 90 degrees is bring this in closer. It needs to kind of like land somewhere here. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Or instead of bringing it in, never minding the peak size, I could bring this triangle in more maybe about that much, whatever the distance is for this to be 90. I need to measure that out and then put that right there, and then it'll work. So these will come in just a little bit, maybe like that much, which is fine. It's the origami part of it that's really beautiful. I like. And whether it's, oh, that's what the difference is. The other difference is these are made out of a square piece of paper too. I wanted to make a few that were pure origami, and then some that were that's like office origami or Officegami, which like just took like a sheet of office paper. You didn't need to cut it, 8.5 by 11, and you would make one of these wild shapes. But yeah, man, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I gotta get to work. Peace. And kiss my baby.